Hello, boys and girls, welcome back. So, in this class, let us discuss the leftover part in chapter number 2. So, chapter 2 was talking about competitive strategies. So, let us try to understand what are those leftover topics. So, if you remember dynamics of competitive strategy, chapter number 2, I have covered all the topics except three topics. So, those three topics I will be now discussing in coming video. Okay, now, so let's come back to what exactly this intro is talking all about, sir. Dynamics of competitive strategy. Now, let's understand all this through this diagram, sir. Now tell me, sir, if at all I am a businessman, if at all I am a businessman or any organization which is doing business, sir, obviously I have to do business in the environment, sir. Agree? I have to do business in the business environment. Okay, sir. Very nice. Because I told you business cannot function in isolation. I have to do business in the environment, sir. Now tell me, sir, if I have to do business in the environment, do you think this environment will have no other competitors or it will have competitors? Answer is it will have competitors. Obviously I am not going to operate in a monopoly environment. I'm not going to operate in a monopoly environment, sir. I will be having or facing a perfect competition. So you will have or company will face competitions. So can I say company or organization or that businessman may have various competitors. Okay, very good, sir. So can I say multiple competitors are there in the business environment in which I should also survive, sir. In which I should also survive. I should also compete and I should also, what do you say, earn profits, sir. Okay, very good, sir. So now my question to you people is, do you think when organization has to compete with the competitors, when they prepare a strategy, when they prepare a strategy, do you think that strategy should consider all these competition? Yes, sir, that strategy is what I mean by competitive strategy. What is the strategy called as, sir? Competitive strategies. So again, what is competitive strategy, sir? Strategy which the organization prepares keeping the competition in their mind is what I mean by competitive strategies. Okay, sir, now we have to prepare a competitive strategy. The question is, why why company should prepare competitive strategy, and next question is how they can prepare competitive strategy. So first I would like to answer how they can prepare competitive strategies. How they can prepare competitive strategy? Simple hai. By identifying, by understanding, by understanding whom? By identifying, understanding their competitors. Correct है ना भाई? Whoever is my competitor, I have to identify them, understand them, try to find out what are their visions, what are their missions, what are their objectives, goals, which type of product may they are dealing, what type of services they are providing, sir, what are their strength, what are their weaknesses. Don't you think a complete landscape I have to know about my competitor? A complete picture I should have about my competitors. Okay, so don't you think if at all I have to prepare a competitive strategy, one of the requirement would be what, sir? I should identify and understand my competitor. Sir, this identification or understanding of competitors is called competitive landscaping or landscape. Okay, so this identifying, understanding, apprehending the vision, mission, goals, objectives, products, services, strength, weakness of the competitor is what I mean by competitive landscape. So now tell me, sir, if at all I have to prepare a competitive strategy, step number one, what should I do, sir? Step number one, what should I do is competitive landscape. है ना? I should identify, I should understand my competitor. After that, what I prepare is something called competitive strategy. After that, what I prepare is something called competitive strategies. Okay, now tell me, sir. Sir, to do this landscaping, to do this landscaping, don't you think I should have a proper intelligence? I should have proper intelligence. Matlab, sir, there are various what you say players in the market. All are not my competitors, है ना? Some will give direct competition to me, some will give indirect competition to me. So don't you should I should have enough intelligence to find out who is more what you say fearful and who is less fearful. Agreed? So, in other words, to do competitive landscaping, organization should have one intelligence, and that intelligence is called as competitive intelligence. What is this called as, Bacha? Competitive intelligence. So now, can I do renumbering, sir? Answer is yes. So first, companies should develop something called competitive intelligence. This competitive intelligence will help them in doing competitive landscaping, which will allow them to prepare something called competitive strategy, which will allow them to prepare something called what, bacha? Competitive strategies. I hope you understood this step by step progress, sir. Okay. Now, sir, if at all I ask you, why from that time we are saying competitive strategy, you want to prepare competitive strategy. Question is why? Why should company prepare a competitive strategy? So answer is to stay ahead in competition. Why we are preparing this, sir? To stay ahead in competition. To stay ahead in competition. Can I call this as to get competitive advantage? Yes. So company wants to gain what's a competitive advantage. We should have one edge over our competitor. We should be able to attract customers much better than our competitor. Our profitability should be higher than compared to our competitor. Then it is said that company has a competitive advantage. Okay, very good. Sir, now company wants to get competitive advantage. Next question is what is important? What is an important element for attaining? What is an important element for attaining competitive advantage? So if company wants to develop a competitive advantage, what is more important, sir? Sir, company oblique organization has to develop something called core competence. Something they have to develop, that is core competence. For understanding, you may write down, sir, core competence are nothing but unique strength. Okay, later on we have a proper definition for that, we will see, sir. Okay, now, so in other words, what are the things which we have to read now? What are the points which we have to read in this chapter number 2, sir? Okay, starting point I'm talking about. So first we should read something called competitive landscaping, that is question number 1. Okay, then we should understand what is this competitive advantage, that is our question number 2. To develop a competitive advantage, to get a competitive advantage, companies should develop something called core competence. So what are these core competence is what our question number 3 is. Okay, so these are the 3 questions which we have to discuss in moving forward classes. I hope you understood this. Okay, so again I'm telling you, sir, what is the dynamics of competitive strategy. So simple, as a businessman we have to operate in a competitive environment, for which company should have competitive strategy. Now, sir, first point is, if you want to prepare competitive strategy, what is required? Competitive landscape. For competitive landscaping we require competitive intelligence. Okay, now this is an MCQ question, sir. Okay, no theory question, but it's just an MCQ. What intelligence is required for understanding competitive landscaping? So you should be clever enough to say that it is competitive intelligence. Next question is, why companies should have competitive strategies? Again, answer is to achieve competitive advantage. And how company will achieve this competitive advantage? By developing core competence. Okay, so these are the 3 questions which we have to cover now, sir. So you can see in our material also, these are the 3 questions. So first we will cover something called competitive landscape, That is what our question number one is. Then I said we have to cover something called what, sir? Mhm, mhm, mhm. Competitive advantage. That is what our question number two is, competitive advantage. Then we have to focus on something called core competency. That is what our question number three is. Okay, so these are the three leftover topics in chapter number one. Once we complete this, we will complete our entire chapter number one. Now, in this video, what I will be doing is focus on question number one, which is competitive landscape. Okay, chaliye sir. So heading is competitive landscape. Okay, now sir, before I discuss this answer, now I would like you people to have a simple understanding of what do you mean by landscape. Now, most of the time in paintings we use a word called landscape. What is landscape, sir? Sir, it is nothing but what every feature of the land you are able to see in a diagram or visually, that is nothing but a landscape. You can see the dictionary meaning also, sir. All the visible features of an area of a land, often considered in terms of their aesthetic appeal, sir. In other words, all the visible features of an area of a land, sir. Like, sir, you have land and you have trees, you have animals, you have water flowing. Now, that entire scenery is what I mean by a landscape. Similarly, here we do not want to have that scenery, sir. Here in our scenery, we will be looking at whom, sir? Our competitors. Complete analysis of our competitors is what we are going to do in competitive landscape. Okay, now before I discuss this answer, sir, ek bar you please go through this particular, what do you say, a diagram, sir. Now by looking at it, what is that you understand, sir? Imagine Mr. Batsman. Okay, so he is our Mr. Batsman and Mr. Bowler is going to bowl, sir. Okay, now we are thinking from the point of view of Mr. Batsman. Now tell me, sir, as a batsman, whenever he takes the guard, whenever he is about to play the bowler, sir. Now tell me, sir, what generally he does, sir? Now can I say he will be looking at field positioning? Agreed? So he will be checking who is at the gully, who is at the point, who is at the cover, who is at the mid off, who is at square leg. So don't you think every field positions he will be checking, sir? Why? Sir, based on that, he will decide where he has to hit the ball, sir. Now, can I say this is the empty land, sir? So maybe chances are bright he will be now scoring all the runs on the leg side, sir. Chances are bright. Imagine if this fielder comes to this side, sir. Maybe now he will be scoring on the offside, sir. So don't you think depending upon the field positioning, he will be scoring his runs? Similarly, imagine a scenario if fielder number 8 is, imagine any fielder, sir, Mr. Fielder. Okay, now he is not that physically fit, sir. So don't you think whenever ball goes to him, sir, he would be ensuring that he scores double. Matlab, he takes two singles, sir, instead of taking one single. In other words, he would like to multiply his single runs, sir. Agreed or not, sir? Why? Because it is his weakness. What is his weakness? He will be not able to catch the ball or throw the ball fastly, sir. Imagine, sir, Mr. Fielder, he is very, very energetic, sir. Now, can I say, ऐसे situation में he will not take the risk of taking doubles whenever ball goes to him because it is his strength, sir. So, don't you think as a batsman also, I will look into each fielder positioning and then decide my shot, sir. Similarly, imagine a scenario, he is not a batsman, sir. It is you, that is the business, or this is our organization, sir. And all these fielders are nothing but what, bacha, our competitors, sir. So don't you think here also we have to know who is the competitor, what products he deals with, what are his strengths, what are his weaknesses, what is his vision, what is his mission, what geographical area may he has his presence, sir, which product are having more demand of his, sir. Don't you think, yes, sub analysis we have to do, and directly we cannot go into the market, sir. We should know all these things, then we will prepare our strategies, sir. This knowing is what I mean by competitive landscape. This knowing is what I mean by competitive landscaping. So in other words, as a businessman, when you look into all these competitors and try to prepare your strategy, that is what I mean by competitive landscape. So don't you think what is a prerequisite for preparing a competitive strategy? Competitive landscaping is a prerequisite for preparing competitive strategies. I hope you understood. And don't you think to do this competitive landscaping, you should have some intelligence, and that intelligence is what I mean by competitive intelligence. I hope till now I made sense. Clear, bacha? Now, so what we will be doing, sir? Let us try to understand this from the material. So till now we have understood the answers, but now we have to reproduce the same content in the exam. So let us see whatever I said, are these words matching in our answer or not, and what are the keywords which you should definitely write in exam to score the best marks for competitive landscape answers. Chaliye, sir. Now, so what is competitive landscape? Competitive landscape is nothing but a analysis. Correct? It is nothing but one analysis. Now, this analysis is emphasizing on analysis is focusing on what? Point A, identifying the competitors. Point B, understanding the competitors. Again, what is competitive analysis, sir? Sorry, what is competitive landscape? It is on analysis. And sir, what is this analysis all about? Identifying and understanding. Identifying, understanding whom? Identifying, understanding the competitor. Agreed? So whether it is direct competitor or indirect competitors, and at the same time it permits comprehension of their vision. So we have to also know what are their vision, what are their mission, what are their core values, what are the markets in which they are dealing, sir, what are their strength, what are their weakness. In other words, we should have complete 360-degree information about whom, sir, our competitor. So this analysis of the competitor is what I mean by competitive landscape. Now I hope you will not buttify this answer. Break down into points. What is competitive landscaping? It is one analysis. Now what is this analysis all about? It is focusing on what? It is focusing on identifying, understanding whom competitors. Sir, also knowing their vision, mission, core values, core competencies, etc. Agreed? Point number one is over. Next, sir, to do this analysis or to do this competitive landscaping, every business should have something called competitive intelligence. Agreed? This is your point number two. Point number three, sir, what will happen if you have a what will happen if you have complete knowledge of your competitors? Let's see. An in-depth investigation and analysis of firms competition allows it to assess what? Competitor strength, assess what? Competitor's weakness. Why you should know competitor's strength, sir? Because in this he is more special, sir. And why you should know his weakness? So that you will exploit his weaknesses and in the marketplace, and helps it to choose and implement effective strategy. Which strategy? Company's competitive strategy that will improve its competitive advantage. समझ में आया बच्चा? Now can I say very easily we have covered 3 points. Point number one, what is meaning of competitive? Point number two, what is important for what is meaning of competitive landscaping? Point number two, what is one of the requirement for competitive landscaping? And third, competitive landscaping will help in what, sir? And knowing competitor strength, weakness, etc. That is question number one. Question number two, steps to understand competitive landscape. Very, 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 very important question. Okay, can be asked in MCQ. In MCQ, what they can do is they can give you 5 steps in a jumbled manner, and then they will ask you to rearrange them in a chronological order, sir. So you should know the chronology also, है ना? Chronology को समझिए, है ना? You should know the chronology also, and you should also remember this 5 signs. I hope you understood, sir. Now let us try to see what are the steps involved in competitive landscape. So first we have understood meaning, and then we have understood the steps. Okay, bacha. Now, so meaning already I have told you, sir. Identify, understand whom, sir? Competitors, and also we have to apprehend, and apprehend what, sir? Their vision, mission, core values, etc., etc. Now, what are the steps? Okay. Step number one. What you have to do, sir? You have to identify. Identify whom, sir? Competitors. Okay. For example, sir, अब ध्यान से सुनना. Sir, imagine this is Mr. PJ. Now, Mr. PJ wants to open one online e-commerce portal, sir. Okay, like Amazon, like Flipkart. I also want to open one online e-commerce portal, sir. Okay, so very good, sir. So एक e-commerce portal मेरे को open करना है, sir. Now, sir, just like that I will do that? Answer is no. Now I have to do something called competitive landscape. First point is I should identify the competitor. So who are my competitors, plus what is their market share. Okay, say for example, complete e-commerce market will have 100% market shares. Agreed, sir? Usme imagine Amazon is having 30%, Flipkart is having 20%, sir, Mintra is having 10%, sir, Jabong, say for example, is having 4%, and so on. I say multiple companies are there which are holding some percentage. Imagine you also have Agio, you also have Tata Click. So there are various e-commerce portals. So I have to find out who are my competitors and what are their market what is a shares. Next, sir, I have found the competitors. Now I have to gather more information. I have to gather more information about my competitors. I have to gather more information about my competitors. Now, what do you mean by gather more information about my competitors? It is nothing but I have to understand the competitors. I have to understand the competitor. Like, sir, what products may he is dealing, or what services he is providing. Agreed. So what products may he is dealing, what services he is providing, which geographical area may he has his presence. So I should find out all those details. Agreed. Now, question is how we will do this. Obviously, can I say you can take the help of internet. Company will have some websites. Sir, some market research can be conducted to find out what type of products they are dealing with, etc. So can I say there are various ways, sir? You can also see the reviews of customers, and reviews, online search you can do. So there are various ways in which you can gather this information. Sir, whatever information you have gathered, from that you should find out what are the strength of your competitors and what are their weaknesses. What are the strength of the competitors and what are their weaknesses. Why we should know the strength of the competitor? Because of this reason only customers are attached to him. Because of this strength only customers are attached to him. So tomorrow if I have to develop a competitive strategy, I should ensure that these type of strength are also there in me. These type of strength are also there in me. Or you can say this is my competitor's core competence. This is my competitors core competence. So don't you think competitors core competence I should also copy in my strategies, and then only I will be able to survive in the markets. Then picture. Now then I have to know what are their weaknesses. Now why I should know weaknesses of the competitor? Can I say on this only I have to take the advantage? On this only I have to take the advantage. Imagine he is not providing after sale service, I will provide after sale service. Imagine he is not having online presence, I will give online presence. Imagine he does not accept cash on delivery, I will accept cash on delivery. Imagine he does not take replacement of so and so goods, I will take replacement of so and so goods. So can I say to exploit these weaknesses? है ना? So to exploit these weaknesses, है ना, we have to convert his weaknesses into our strength. So that's the reason I should also know his weaknesses. And last point is I will put all information together. Why I have to put all information together? So that I can conduct overall analysis. So that I can conduct overall analysis. Now, what do you mean by overall analysis? Simple. Sir, till now you were only doing individual analysis, knowing individual strength, individual weakness. So can I say complete thing ko you have to bring together and then you have to do overall analysis. Like, sir, you attend IT EIS ka class, so you have knowledge of EIS, or you have a knowledge of EIS, correct? Sir, you read SM, you have understanding of SM. Now tell me, sir, exam may, don't you think we have to test all the concepts together or not, sir? Yes. So do you think only individual EIS, individual SM, or you should have overall knowledge also, sir? Can I say overall knowledge is also required, sir? So we have to put all the things together and then check whether you are still able to, है ना, and then check whether you are able to still find out some better information from this one. Okay, so these are my 5 steps to do something called competitive landscape. Okay, bacha. Now let's see what are those. So very beautiful presentation I have given this in our material, sir. This answer, and if you see in ICI material, thoda difficult it is to comprehend, sir. So what did I do? This answer ko I have divided into 3 parts. One, I told you question kya hai. Now what is the meaning of this question and what answer you will get if you question this. So what is the question, sir? Identify the competitor. Now what is the meaning? You have to find out your competitors and know your market share. Now, if you find out the competitor, know his market share, sir. By this, we will get one understanding. Acha, these people are our competitor. Next, understand the competitor. If you understand the competitor, what will happen, sir? We will come to know about their products. We will come to know about their services. Sir, to understand the competitors, what are helping tools? Can I say market research report, newspaper, internet, social media, industry report? This all will help you in understanding your competitor. Then you have to determine what are his strengths. So by this, you will come to know about his financial position, cost and profit, future strategies, strength of distribution network, his human employees resource, etc. All his core competence we will come to know, sir. Agreed? Next, I should know his weaknesses, where they are lacking, sir. Now, how can I come to know about the weaknesses? Can I say one of the way of knowing weaknesses is see the customer reviews? Now, can I say on Amazon, whenever a product is sold, sir, can I say some customers do write the reviews, sir? By this only I will come to know what is good in this product, what is bad in this product. Can I say now I can easily find out what are his weaknesses. Fifth point. Now I have to put all this information to. So this will help us in knowing what improvements we have to make so that we can exploit the weaknesses of whom sir competitor. Clear, bacha? So this ends your answer called what, bacha? Competitive landscape. So what are the things we have learned in this class, sir? We have understood what is competitive intelligence, then what is competitive landscaping, and then what are the steps to understand the competitive landscape. So very important answer है, critical answer है. Chances are bright कि this question can be asked for 5 marks or an MCQ can be tested. MCQ can be on competitive intelligence or MCQ can be on 5 steps of MCQ can be on competitive intelligence and MCQ can be on these 5 steps of competitive landscape. Okay. Next answers we will cover in next video. Thank you very much.